What's going on with you? You're always drawing in class. I thought you wanted to be an engineer, just like your papa and mama are,
I don't want to be like you.
I'm disappointed.
The story begins with Victor, who is developing a new prototype robot called a 1-112 alongside his wife, Nadia, and his co-worker, Katia. Their goal is to create an advanced robot intelligent enough to handle almost any task. The moment they power it on, they begin testing its ability to walk. However, the robot repeatedly loses its balance and falls, making the team concerned about the project. Even so, Victor refuses to give up. His frustration grows when the robot fails to control its own strength and accidentally destroys nearby objects. Seeing his disappointment, Nadia reminds him that it's only the testing phase and suggests increasing the robot's processing power to help it learn faster. After several adjustments, the robot finally manages to walk on its own, filling all three of them with excitement. As the training continues, a 1-112 keeps learning and improving, and its steady progress gives the team confidence that their hard work is finally paying off. Meanwhile, while Nadia is busy at work, she receives a call from her son, Misha. Since she can't answer, she declines it and sends him a message asking him to call his father instead. She also tells Victor to check on him. When Victor calls, Misha complains, "Dad, please come pick me up from school. I don't want to stay here anymore. I'm tired of all this math." Instead of comforting him, Victor firmly tells him to stop making excuses and focus on his studies, warning that there will be consequences if he doesn't. Feeling hurt, Misha hangs up the phone. Moments later, a few students nearby begin making fun of him, leaving him even more frustrated. He then walks into class and asks his teacher, "If I want to become an artist, do I really need to learn math?" The teacher explains that he does and points to Leonardo da Vinci, saying that he studied engineering and created inventions before becoming one of history's greatest artists.
He invented the parachute, all with mathematics.
The great Da Vinci. Misha is more like Da Wimpy.
But instead of changing his mind, the answer only makes Misha more annoyed. Later, as the teacher checks everyone's homework, she discovers that Misha didn't solve a single math problem and filled the pages with drawings instead.
This was drawing class. You would get an A from me. This is math. I can only give you an F.
Back at the lab, Victor decided to test the robot's voice system, only to discover that Nadia and Katia had programmed it with a child's voice. The moment he heard it, he became furious. However, there wasn't enough time to make any changes because they were already late for an important meeting. During the presentation, the team showed the committee footage of a 1-112's training sessions. After watching, the general pointed out that the robot took too long to lock onto its targets and reacted too slowly in combat, saying it still required major improvements. Victor defended the project by arguing that the robot had successfully completed every mission it was given. But the general quickly responded that even a brief delay on the battlefield could mean the difference between life and death, whether it was the soldiers or the robot in danger. He also criticized the robot's childish voice, ordered them to replace it, and demanded that its speed and strength be upgraded even further. Frustrated by the criticism, Victor left the meeting angry with Nadia and Katia on his way home. Misha bumped into his friend Grant, who worked as a street cleaner. Misha told him that his teacher had sent him to the principal's office. Hearing this, Grant kindly offered to visit the school and pretend to be his parent, but Misha refused the idea and continued on his way. Back at the lab, Victor questioned a 1-112 about its disappointing test results. The robot calmly replied that maybe it simply wasn't having a good day. That answer only made Victor even more frustrated, hoping to understand humans better. A 1-112 then asked if it could see a picture of Victor's family because it wanted to know what a family was like. Victor dismissed the request, saying there was no point talking about such things. Still curious, the robot asked,
"That means you are my family. I am your son."
"No, you're a machine, not a human. Machines don't have families, and right now you're just getting on my nerves." After saying that, Victor, Nadia, and Katia left the lab, leaving a 1-112 all by itself to take home. Victor and Nadia confronted Misha after finding out he had spent his time drawing instead of finishing his math homework. Upset, Victor went even further, telling him that his drawings weren't good enough and that he should stop wasting time, study hard like his parents, and become a scientist. Those words pushed Misha over the edge. In anger, he shouted, "I'll never be like either of you." His response deeply hurt Victor, Meanwhile, back at the lab, a 1-112 was left all alone. Curious about what Victor had said, it searched the meaning of the word family in a dictionary, but the explanation only confused it. Believing the only way to truly understand was to experience one, the robot decided to find a real family for itself. Using its built-in weapons, it blasted open the lab door and quietly escaped into the city while trying not to attract attention as it wandered through the streets. It nearly crashed into a passing tram. Not long afterward, it found a group of people painting a mural. The sudden sound of the robot's voice startled a young boy, causing him to fall. A 1-112 quickly helped him back up, but the frightened boy ran away anyway, leaving the robot feeling disappointed. A little later, it arrived at a construction site and politely told the workers to hurry because the loud noise was disturbing nearby residents.
This noise level is not permitted at night. Children are sleeping. Why are you running?
Instead of listening, the workers panicked and fled. Standing there alone, the robot stared at the family photo it had taken from the lab, quietly wondering where it could find a family of its own. The following day, Victor and his team arrived at the lab only to discover that a 1-112 had disappeared. The robot had escaped without leaving a trace, leaving everyone shocked. Meanwhile, at school, Misha's teacher announced that all the students would be taking part in an upcoming robotics competition. Instead of getting excited, Misha immediately objected. When the teacher asked why he refused to join, especially since he claimed to be creative, Misha felt offended by the comment and angrily walked out of the classroom. That very moment, a 1-112 reached Misha's house. Using one of its mechanical fingers, it created a key and quietly unlocked the front door before letting itself inside. As it wandered through the house, it stopped in front of a mirror. Looking at its own reflection, the robot felt lonely, realizing it still didn't have a family. Suddenly, it heard the front door open and quickly hid out. A few moments later, Misha arrived home, tossed his school bag aside, and went to the bathroom to wash his hands. As soon as he stepped inside, he was shocked to find the robot standing there, politely holding out a towel because it had been hiding in the bathroom. Frightened, Misha stumbled backward and bumped into the sink. Seeing that he had gotten hurt, a 1-112 immediately offered to treat his injury, but Misha panicked, ran straight to his bedroom, and jumped onto his bed. The robot followed after him and calmly said, "Don't be afraid. I'm not here to hurt you. I only want to help." Once it realized Misha was safe, it relaxed and introduced itself, saying, "My name is a 1-112. I'm a multifunctional rescue robot." It then explained how it had entered the house and even demonstrated several different voice settings, which finally made Misha smile and laugh a little. The robot then quietly admitted, "I'm searching for a family because I want to understand what a family really is," before showing Misha the photo it had taken from the lab. Misha looked at the picture and sadly replied,
That's no family. They only care about themselves.
Hearing that, the robot confessed that it had been feeling the same way because it couldn't even satisfy the person who created it. Misha smiled and encouraged it, saying, "That's not true. You made me happy, didn't you? From now on, we're friends, and I'll call you Robbie." Receiving its new name filled the robot with joy. Meanwhile, back at the lab, General Oleg gathered the scientists and angrily warned them that a 1-112 had escaped. Since the robot was equipped with powerful weapons, he feared it could become a serious threat if it wasn't found quickly. Around the same time, Victor realized his family photo had disappeared from the lab, making him suspect the robot had taken it. He immediately decided to check his house. Just then, Misha and Robbie were sitting together watching television. As soon as Victor arrived home, Robbie quickly hid out of sight. Victor searched every room, but after finding nothing unusual, he eventually left. Once the coast was clear, Misha gave Robbie his computer so it could learn more about the world. Within only a few minutes, the robot absorbed an incredible amount of information. Wanting to show Robbie something different, Misha later took it to his friend Grant's workshop, where Grant spent his time creating artwork. Robbie carefully examined the drawings and asked why they weren't perfectly symmetrical. Misha explained that true art isn't about perfect symmetry. It's about creating something beautiful. As the day came to an end, the two friends sat beside the window, quietly watching the sunset together. The peaceful moment brought genuine happiness to Robbie. Before leaving, Misha told it, "Tomorrow you'll have to stay here and keep out of sight because I have to go to school." He then left the robot alone in the workshop with a pen so it could practice drawing at the same time. General Oleg received reports from his soldiers that they had searched a large part of the city but still hadn't found a 1-112. Furious, he ordered security around the lab to be tightened and instructed his men to warn the public to report any sightings of the robot immediately. Later that evening, during dinner, Nadia noticed Victor seemed unusually worried and asked what was bothering him. Victor admitted that General Oleg had warned him the lab would most likely be shut down if A1-112 wasn't captured and destroyed soon. If that happened, everyone working there would lose their jobs. Hearing those words, Misha quietly lowered his head, unsure of what to say. The following day at school, a student named Anton interrupted the lesson by playing with his remote-controlled robot. When the teacher became angry, Anton secretly tossed the controller toward Misha, making it appear as though he was the one causing trouble. Without giving Misha a chance to defend himself, the teacher blamed him and ordered him to leave the classroom. The unfair punishment left Misha furious. Later, during gym class, Misha confronted Anton and demanded to know why he had framed him. Instead of apologizing, Anton laughed and continued mocking him until Misha finally lost his temper. He grabbed Anton and threw him to the ground, insisting that he tell the truth. The gym teacher quickly rushed over and broke up the fight before it got any worse. Still angry, Misha stormed out and headed straight to Grant's workshop. There, he found Robbie and Grant happily playing cards together after becoming close friends. Seeing the look on Misha's face, Robbie immediately asked what had happened. Misha explained that the military was searching everywhere for Robbie and had been ordered to destroy it as soon as they found it. After thinking for a moment, Misha decided that Robbie could no longer stay in the city. Grant then mentioned a remote forest that people avoided because a massive fire had once broken out there. An idea suddenly came to Misha. He suggested that Robbie travel there and extinguish the remaining fire to prove that it existed to save lives, not to hurt anyone. The plan sounded perfect, and all three agreed to it. But before they could leave, loud knocks echoed through the workshop as police officers demanded that the door be opened immediately. Thinking quickly, Grant delayed them by shouting that he was busy, giving Misha and Robbie enough time to escape through the roof. To get away, Robbie lifted Misha onto its back, activated its jet boosters, and soared across the rooftops. Watching them disappear into the sky, the officers quickly contacted headquarters, reporting that A1-112 had kidnapped a human right in front of their eyes, and that they were in pursuit. During the high-speed escape, Misha accidentally dropped his phone from his pocket. Just as the police were about to catch up, Robbie made one enormous leap, allowing the pair to disappear and escape once again. Before long, news of A1-112's escape spread across the entire city. Television stations covered the story, and Grant was even interviewed by reporters. Since the police believed he had been rescued from the robot, everyone assumed he had been its victim, so no charges were brought against him. Meanwhile, Misha and Robbie were hiding inside an unfinished building. Upset by everything that was happening, Misha complained that people were spreading false stories and destroying Robbie's reputation even though it had never harmed anyone. Robbie calmly explained that its poor performance during testing might have been caused by a communication error, suggesting that something inside its system could be malfunctioning. Misha immediately encouraged it, saying, "Don't worry about that. You're a kind robot, and you always try your best." Those words lifted Robbie's spirits. Wanting to return the kindness, it wrapped Misha in a thermal blanket, and the two quietly spent the evening watching a movie together. Later that night, Misha suddenly realized it was the first time he wouldn't hear his mother's usual goodnight. Seeing that he looked sad, Robbie offered to take him home. However, Misha refused because he knew the authorities would destroy Robbie the moment they found it. Hearing that Misha cared so much about protecting it made the robot genuinely happy. The next morning, they were awakened by the sound of construction workers nearby. Realizing they couldn't keep hiding forever, Misha suggested they disguise themselves so nobody would recognize them. He also reminded Robbie about their plan to put out the forest fire, hoping the heroic act would prove to everyone, including the police, that Robbie wanted to save people, not hurt them. Back at home, Katia informed Victor and Nadia that the laboratory had officially been shut down. Worried about both his son and the missing robot, Victor went to the police station to ask if there had been any new information. Meanwhile, Misha and Robbie arrived at the city circus. To avoid attracting attention, they borrowed clown costumes from the circus staff so Robbie could blend in with everyone else. Misha told Robbie to stay in disguise while he went to buy tickets. Just then, his classmates Anton and Alia unexpectedly spotted him. Shocked to see him, they told Misha that news of his disappearance was all over the city. Misha called Robbie over and explained that it wasn't an evil robot at all. He told them that people were spreading false rumors and that they were only running because he wanted to get Robbie somewhere safe. Although Anton and Alia were nervous when they saw the robot dressed as a clown, Misha reassured them that Robbie was his friend and would never hurt anyone. At the same time, Victor desperately tried to convince the general not to close the lab. However, the general refused to change his mind, saying the decision had already been made. He also declared that the moment A1-112 was found, it would be destroyed without hesitation. Hearing those words, Victor knew there was no point arguing anymore. He walked away devastated, believing the greatest project of his life had ended in failure. Meanwhile, back at the circus, Misha asked Anton and Alya to stay with Robbie while he went to buy bus tickets. His plan was to travel to the forest, put out the fire, and prove once and for all that Robbie was a robot created to help people, not hurt them. Before leaving, Misha made both of them promise not to tell anyone where Robbie was hiding. They agreed, but the moment Misha disappeared, Anton's curiosity took over. He asked Robbie if it could really perform the incredible moves shown on the news, or if they had all been exaggerated. Eager to impress them, Robbie removed its clown costume and began demonstrating its amazing abilities, while Anton secretly recorded everything on his phone. Alya was disappointed when Anton admitted he didn't care what happened to the robot. He only wanted a viral video and more followers. After Anton walked away, Alya stayed behind and continued talking with Robbie. Meanwhile, two men recognized Misha from the missing person reports and stopped him before he could leave. Around the same time, Victor received a call from the police informing him that his son had been found. Overwhelmed with relief, he immediately headed to the station. As Anton's recordings spread across the internet, the videos quickly went viral and eventually caught the attention of the general and his team. Realizing they finally had a lead, they ordered their men to locate Anton and question him about the robot's whereabouts at the police station. Victor rushed over and hugged Misha tightly, relieved to see him safe. He asked where he had been and warned him that A1-112 was far too dangerous to trust. But Misha firmly defended Robbie, insisting that it was his friend and nothing like the threat the general claimed it was. He eventually admitted that he had left the robot with a few friends, but only after making Victor promise not to report its location. After a brief pause, Victor reluctantly agreed and decided to go with his son instead. Meanwhile, Alya had given Robbie a fun makeover using makeup. When Victor finally saw the robot again, he was surprised to discover that A1-112 had changed dramatically. Its conversations sounded far more natural, and it now showed a much deeper understanding of people, emotions, and the world around it. Just as everything seemed to be going well, several police vehicles suddenly surrounded the area. Realizing they had been found, Victor, Misha, and Robbie quickly ran toward a cargo warehouse at the docks, but soldiers soon blocked every possible escape. General Oleg ordered his men to pull the children away so they could fire an electromagnetic weapon capable of destroying the robot. Victor refused to let them do it, but Oleg ignored him and ordered the soldiers to move in by force. Then, without warning, disaster struck. A crane's cable suddenly snapped, sending a massive shipping container crashing straight toward the general. Before anyone could react, Robbie rushed forward and caught the falling container, risking its own life to save everyone nearby. For a few moments, Robbie managed to hold the enormous weight, but the pressure became too much. Its frame started breaking apart as its systems warned that the load exceeded its limits. Realizing it couldn't hold on much longer, Robbie told everyone to get back immediately. Misha could only watch in horror as he desperately called out to his friend. Seconds later, the container crashed down, smashing Robbie into pieces. The shocking scene left everyone speechless. General Oleg couldn't believe that the very robot he had been determined to destroy had just sacrificed itself to save his life. After the container was lifted away, Misha knelt beside the broken robot with tears in his eyes and sadly began saying goodbye, while Victor tried his best to comfort him. But then, something incredible happened. A small light flickered inside Robbie, and its systems slowly began restarting. Misha quickly realized his friend was still alive. Seeing Robbie power back on filled everyone with relief and happiness. Together, they carefully helped the damaged robot back onto its feet and walked away as one family. Sometime later, Misha proudly showed Robbie and Alya the drawings he had made of everything they had been through together. Looking through each picture, they couldn't help but smile, remembering the incredible adventure they had shared. Everyone loved Misha's artwork, proving that his talent had been there all along. In the final scene, the whole family gathered around the dinner table, happier than ever. Wanting to preserve the moment, Robbie politely asked Nadia if it could borrow her phone so it could finally take a picture with the family it had always dreamed of having. Finally, the story ends with the narrator thanking the viewers and asking them to like and subscribe to the channel to support his 3 days edit.